my mind was in a completely different world until it got to this idea of how people like to talk as if there's any certainty in this existence. Like, maybe that's why religious people or the superstitious people, the ones who like to talk about the things they believe in, maybe that's why they appear or they appear so annoying to talk to. It's because a lot of times it's easy to forget that amidst all of these beliefs, amidst all of these things that you agree with, that we follow, that we live by, a lot of these are just beliefs. And just because you believe in something doesn't mean it's true. You can believe in something that isn't true. That's part of your right as a person with your own mind and your own belief system, with your own mind, with your own rights and all of that. But that also comes with what's the thing that comes with a right? God, words are out of my mind. That right to believe in something comes with a sort of agreement, an understanding that other people also have the same sort of right. That as much as you're allowed to believe and practice whatever the hell you want to believe and practice, other people can do the same as well, even if and especially when that belief or that practice goes against what you believe or you practice. A short tangent on that is, by goes against what you practice doesn't mean that it should harm you or anyone or even the person itself. That's where that part is another conversation. But yeah, so that's what a lot of people, I think, fail to what a lot of people forget when they debate about ethics, debate about morality, debate about religion, or even dogma within the same religion. That even when there's a written word that's given for the practice that you have, most of the time it's not a clear-cut thing. It's not there. There's a lot of room for interpretation in a lot of those beliefs. And so the variances have all those degrees. There's the difference in beliefs themselves, and what one person thinks is right, what another person thinks is right. And then there's the variance in when the same people believe the same thing, but they interpret it differently. So there's all those differences, but what's my point? Okay, full disclosure that this is just a short rant because I feel a little annoyed hearing how hearing people converse in such a way that they push their beliefs as true, that that they say this is right in this sort of ethical standard, this is the correct thing, anything that goes against it is incorrect. Mm. I guess on one hand it's because I also came from that sort of thinking, or I'm not sure. Huh. No, I think it's, well, okay, for one, in the defense of people like that, it's how most people would describe our a rational argument would be that a rational argument follows this certain set of logic, and they take the situation, put the two together, get a conclusion. That's a rational argument. And then there comes in the whole idea of how do I explain this? Then there also comes in the idea of a whole scientific methodology where in order to get the sure results, certain results, there has to be an established structure that people follow, because that's the only way to make sure that everyone's on the same page and that the product is more or less correct. And so that's the default critical thinking mode for people. Okay, it's hard to say like for most people because I don't know. Like a lot of these are for people who only people I've interacted with, and it would go against the whole thing I'm saying if I tried to apply it to the general population. I think the point is this is one thing that happens. This is one case of how supposedly proper debate on interesting topics and application of critical thinking goes, that you know that an argument would use a set of beliefs and then use that to get to a conclusion, and then use the same beliefs to counter the other argument or another similar scenario. But okay, the thing is, the whole point is that a lot of the times the methodology itself that is used. Like, for example, if we're talking about the correct ways of living based on a certain religion, you the arguments would have to use uh, beliefs from that religion or articles from that religion. And so it's easy to just take the belief and apply it and say that this is what's correct because you're basing it off of a solid structure. But that oversimplifies life so much. That oversimplifies things in a way that might make discussions just ultimately useless. Because if one only needs to get a certain set of beliefs and a certain set of methodology and then certain case and put all those together and then get a result or a new scenario, then what's the point of actually thinking? When people try to understand a certain thing and base it off of, okay, this is the theory that understand a certain thing based on this theory or that theory or this sort of philosophy, and go from there. I mean, it's okay to start from there. That's the point. It's good to start from there. It's okay to start from there because it's a good starting point. It helps get rid of the overwhelm when it comes to thought, because we all can think of everything for a certain scenario and not be able still to encapsulate the whole thing. So it's great to start from one point, but the problem lies in limiting the discussion into just that one point. That this theory says this is the case, and I believe it so, and it makes sense, therefore this must be it. But again, it's the same with starting with the theory to understand a certain idea, that it helps to live life following beliefs, following a certain set of beliefs. It makes it a lot easier. So it helps your consciousness go through life. Because if you're, like, for example, if you're faced with a dilemma on your way to point B coming from point A, and you need to get to point B immediately, instead of spending all your time trying to solve the dilemma, you can just use the set of beliefs you already have to get the dilemma out of your way, and you can carry on your merry way. So it helps like that. It helps that way. But it's also very easy to forget that all of those sets of beliefs, all of those theories, all of those ideas are just guides at most. They help one think. They help us understand this maze that is life. This, it's not even a maze, it's a lot more than that. But it helps us understand that. And another thing is that all of those things are just, again, they're just beliefs, they're just thoughts, theories, ways of understanding. But they're not the truth. Because we can never get to the truth. Like the totality of everything. Just as how it's impossible for anyone to encapsulate infinity. But we can grasp the idea of infinity in our minds, in words, in, I don't know, visuals. But the thing itself, it's out of our reach. We can't get there. We just can get to somewhere similar to it, somewhere close to it. Same with truth, that it's impossible for one existence to get to the truth, because the truth goes beyond theories, beyond structure, beyond logic. Even logic helps us get to the truth, or a part of the truth. It helps us see a bit of it, but it's ultimately just a structure which can also limit us the same way it can help us to it. And let's take that whole thing as an example. Like for me, I believe that the truth can't ever be achieved in this lifetime, because that's the whole point or goal of existence, to get to that wholeness, to truth with a capital T. That's a point of living. But someone else may believe that this sets of ideas, or this one idea, is the truth, and they wholeheartedly think that that's the case. Well, that's fine. I wouldn't say they're wrong and I'm right, because maybe that is the truth and I have no idea, because this whole time I've just been thinking that I can't get to it even if it's there. But the whole point in that thing is the understanding that it's okay to believe in what I believe in. It's okay to believe otherwise for yourself. However, when it comes to discussions and a whole argument is just, this is the truth that I agree with, this is how you apply it to this case, and then this is the answer, and then that's it. That is the whole point of this thing. Ugh. I mean, what's the point of talking, of discussing, if it's all just going to end with, no, but this is right. This is what my ethical foundations, is that the right term? Ethical foundations say, this is the dogma of living. Therefore, my conclusion is correct. Like, what's the fun in that? That's not fun. You know what's fun? What's fun is when this person believes A and this person believes B, and they both together try to figure out why A and B may be wrong, and there might be a C, which is fun as well, as interesting as well, but it's also wrong. What's my point? Yeah. So again, everything, even logic, even sciences. I feel like that's such a hot take. It's probably not, but there's this small voice from past Geary that says like, ooh, that might not be safe in the environment to say, but yeah, even the sciences, even but I don't know, political structures, all of those things, everything, they're all just beliefs, and every one of us has to decide which ones we believe in, which ones we don't, establish a structure from there so we can go on our merry ways without having too much thinking to do. Unless you want to think and process everything from start all the time. That's also another way. So it's possible to have no beliefs, but most of the time they're just beliefs. That's my call. Not mine, but my dog's.